Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 gags. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to discuss something that I kept thinking about yesterday over and over and over and over. You know, I watched a football game this weekend, me and the baby. We watched a football game, and it's very interesting. We watched the first half, and in the first half, it was two teams. I forget which ones they were, but it was two teams. One team had an identity. One team had a process, and the other team did not. They did not really know who they were. They did not really know what they were doing. And ladies and gentlemen, it definitely showed on the scoreboard. It definitely showed in the game. Let's forget about the scoreboard. It's not about the scoreboard. If you're going to win in business, if you're going to win in life, one of the most important things that you should do is have an identity. If you're going to be in a business, have an identity. Have something planned out. Know who you are, know what you want to do, and go to that point. Do not try to do 100 different things. Do not try to be great at 99 things. Have an identity. Learn. Be great at something. Stick to that for a while, and hone that, and get that down pat. It's like, I had a discussion with my friend, and we talked about one of my family members. One of my family members, a while ago, they got into it's not day trading, but it's not long-term investing. It's sort of like you trade on the stock market for a couple of days, and then when it goes, you buy low and you sell high, and of course, he makes some money. And I remember he was telling me about this. And he sounded excited about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool, that's great." But then I would ask him how it was going, and eventually, after about 3 months, he was like, "Oh no, I'm pivoting," And a lot of times, this family member of mine, he pivots in different financial things, and it's like if you can really hone in on that skill and get better at that, then maybe you should do that. Have an identity and do that for like a year, 2 years, and see where it can take you, And it's the same as these football teams. It's like I remember back in the 80s when I would watch the San Francisco 49ers, one of my favorite teams. They had Joe Montana, they had Jerry Rice, and they had a great offensive line, great defensive line. They had one of the main things about them, one of the key things about them was they consistently had great, like, smart, intellectual football players, that knew the game, studied the game, and would always execute. The 49ers execution was flawless. They always executed at a high level. And it's not about the scoreboard sometimes. It's about an identity. And the 49ers, I would say their identity was execution, okay? The New York Football Giants in the 80s, their identity was great defense and ball control offense. The Washington Redskins had an awesome offensive line. This is why they won the Super Bowl 3 different times with 3 different quarterbacks. Why? Because they had a outstanding offensive line and an outstanding defense, an identity. And you should get an identity. The longer you go without an identity, the longer you go without a base, without a foundation, without something to identify yourself with in your business, the harder it will be for you to really turn a profit. Trust me, I know. I remember in the beginning, everything was generalized. Everything I would say, everything I would do would be generalized, and it was okay. The best thing that I was doing was using stories from my own life, using stories that I've, lessons that I learned throughout my life and applying them to the podcast, But a lot of times when it came to the business, it would be just generalized stuff, It would just be all over the place, And now I'm like, all right, I know what I want to do with myself, I want to be a full-time copywriter. So this is where I want to go. And this is the direction I'm headed. And things have gotten a lot better for me, Not the podcast, Podcast is great, but in the scheme of the internet, me saying, okay, do I want to be an affiliate marketer? Do I want to do this? I said no. I want to copyright. So now my goal, my focus is copywriting. I want to be great at that. I want to be good at that. And the money will come. It's not, don't think about money when you're trying to get the identity going, just think about establishing yourself, establishing your business identity. And the faster you do that, the better off you will be. All right. And so think about that. It doesn't have to be today, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, but when you really want to get started, when you really want to hone in on your skill, your business, your marketing, everything, figure out your identity, where you want to go and what you want to do. And I will tell you, it will work out a lot for you. And stay focused, ladies and gentlemen. Always be focused. The more you focus on yourself, the more you focus on your business, the more you focus on your family, the better off you will be. I've learned in the last year since I started the podcast, one thing that I have really stopped doing. The only time I watch TV is with my wife, because it's family time, of course. And I watch a little TV with the baby, because for some reason I love my child, but if I try to read a book when she's asleep, she senses that I'm at peace, and she's like, "Nah, you're not gonna be at peace, Daddy-o. I'm here to wake you up." So then I'll turn on the TV, and then she'll go back to sleep, and I'm like, all right. So I turn on the audio book. I've learned, turn the TV on, the kid go back to sleep, turn the audio book on, okay? But trying to read a book with her is, right now it's kind of impossible. But do listen to the audio book. And the more you focus on yourself, the more you focus on your family, the more you focus on your business, everything else will fall in the line. You don't have to, because I was thinking about this one day, because I've cut out a lot of, I want you to create the content. Don't have to consume all the content. Create content for other people to consume, Be the creator, don't be the consumer, you know what I mean? I'm not saying you just all of a sudden stop listening to everything, but there's a lot of fat to be trimmed, okay? And you know where you need to trim the fat at. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Establish an identity. Stick with that for a while, and I'm telling you, watch yourself go. Don't try to be all over the place. Don't be a jack of all trades and a master at none. All right. And so, I love you. And we'll be back tomorrow with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, peace.